time it is. It's that official time. Where we take this worldwide. Let's go. Listen. So now it's time to turn it up. Surf the radio waves as we begin to burn it up. We all up in your area like landscape, definitely bringing you the pancakes. It's a mandate that you tune in. It's time to move out so we can move in and recognize that this is no illusion. I'm here to clear the air so that there is no confusion. It all started off in the book of Genesis when Jacob was wrestling with who he thought was his nemesis. And when the man saw he couldn't overpower him, he touched his hip but he really couldn't devour him. And from that point, then we hear a name change, rearrange the game, so now we gotta change lanes. So I'm here to let you know it's time to listen to the Pancake and Power Slam show. Let's go! Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Power Slam show. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Power Slam show. Turn it up.
What's going on, everybody? It's Dr. Chris Featherstone here, episode 505. We are live and living Culligan funky like a monkey. If you will, baby. Yeah, baby. Let's do this, baby. A little cold. My office here. My feather office. So I'm turning on the heater. How's the P&P Nation doing today? I'm actually going to make this an abbreviated one because, man, my connection, I got to get my connection together. Everything, we changed connections to everything Wi-Fi. Because I used to have a hardwire connection, but it was so bad. It was so bad that the Wi-Fi connection was so bad across the house that we changed services. And so it's better around the house now, but because all of I have a big house, so everything's powered Wi-Fi now. Now it's sucking the life out of my office stuff, which requires a lot of power and connection. So now I'm picking up hardwire again ASAP because I had to moderate. I hosted and moderated a beta on my channel a couple weeks ago, and it was acting all slow. And so this is unacceptable to me. So, P&P Nation, what's up? Let me know how y'all feeling. How about the win for the Big Blue? I know Elvis was about to say something, baby. That's unfortunate. That Michigan won, but they were the better team. So I am not proud enough to say when my team sucked, they sucked. Simple as that. They absolutely sucked. The run game was absolutely atrocious, and it was all bad. It was all bad. We deserved that butt whooping. We deserved it. And there you go. And so I'll put this on my my page about. I put a really. I mean, it's not probable. There's like a 99% chance and it's not going to happen. But I said, man, and also I had to do so much. I had to hurry up and do all of Sportskeeda's stuff, their graphics too for the unscripted because Sabu didn't feel good. I was supposed to be interviewing Sabu, but like 11th hour, he said he didn't feel good. Then he felt better, but we already had Bill Apter. So like a half hour before the show happened, I had to make the flyer for Bill Apter. I had to make a flyer for Bill Apter join the team. Then I had to make a flyer for unscripted, the flyer for unscripted. Then I had to make the countdown for unscripted. This has been a hectic past few hours. So, yeah, it's been hectic. So I'm gonna hop out about 30 minutes or so. But I'm always here to take your Ask Dr. Chris questions. I just heard some news. The NWA cut their attendance due to 90 people for pay-per-view and tapings after inconsistencies of venue because of new variant. So they cut their attendance due to 90 people for the pay-per-view and tapings because of this new Omnilon or let's see. Omicron, I think it's Omicron, something like that. Yeah, Omicron. So the Omicron variant that's been going around. That's heard of some more cases. So Omicron variant puts world on edge. So a new variant that was found, I think it was found like in, I think it was found in like South Africa, and then there were some cases in Europe. So this new Omicron variant is starting to become a scare to many people. The most of the cases of now is the Delta. It's not even the original one. So yes, it's like, and then they're talking about the Delta vaccine. The vaccines not going to work for the Omicron variant, and so yeah, man, just. Oh man, I didn't even check a few days ago. It was 9,000 cases. Spiked real bad. Let's see, the 26th. That's probably for Thanksgiving. It spiked up to 9,000 cases. So at the end of the day, we're just kind of getting immune to this thing. Sadly, yeah. As far as the Patriots, yeah. Those daggone Patriots. The Titans are playing not very well over the past few weeks. And so, I mean, you had at 8-3, they were still number one in the entire AFC. Now everything's like they're both 8-4 now. Both the Titans and the Patriots are 8-4. You had the bye for the AFC. Now you're trying to, and they're still doing their thing in the AFC South. So we're going to get that, it looks we only got 5 games left. So unless we just crap the bed and like lose most of the games, we're going to make the playoffs. But I'm not happy about our chances in the playoffs without Derrick Henry. And then AJ Brown was put on the IR, so that helped. That hurt us too. So yuck. Let's see. War Games predictions. I'll look at it, but I don't know. I mean, I follow NXT's IG and to see like the results and stuff. I'll look at some IG clips, but other than that, I don't have an interest in this new This new IG. Not a fan. Not a fan. Not a fan. I'm gonna look and see the lineup. So the originals versus the 2.0. I don't care, man. I just probably the 2.0 just because Roderick Strong versus Joe Gacy for the Cruiserweight Championship. Roderick Strong. Imperium versus O'Reilly and Wagner. Probably Imperium. And Cameron Grimes versus Duke Hudson. Hair versus hair. Probably Cameron Grimes. Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai, Cora Jade, and Kaylee Ray versus Dakota Kai and Toxic Attraction. Probably the baby faces. We're killing them. So that's that. That's your predictions. So, topic on hand is MJF a lesser known Miz, as CM Punk will call him? The answer is, good promo exchange, but the answer is a clear-cut no to me. Absolutely not. MJF is a person of his own, and he's killing it. He's killing them. I think MJF is a better promo than the Miz. Miz is good. Miz is a good promo, but I think MJF is a better promo than the Miz is. So MJF is not a lesser known Miz. Chris is asking thoughts on OU's coach Lincoln Riley going to USC and Notre Dame's coach Brian Kelly going to LSU. Has to be a money thing. Because USC has won one Pac-10 championship in like 2013. So they won one over the past dozen years. Let me see. Pac-10. Let me see the Pac-12 champions. Let's see. They were good with Reggie Bush and Carson Palmer was there, but that was 15 years ago. Let's see. USC, last time USC won, I think it was 2013, but they weren't that good. 05 and 06, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, but 04 and 05 was taken away because of Reggie Bush. They won in 08, they won in 07, they split it. So 03 to 07, they had at least a share of the Pac-12 championship. They dominated. Then after 2017 is when they won. So yeah, Reggie Bush days, Carson Palmer days. Yeah, but USC hasn't been a formidable team consistently in 15 years. 11-2, they were good. They were in 2017. They were good. That was actually pretty. That was actually a surprise. Let me see. Let me check their history. Check USC's. Okay, here we go. So yeah, the Pete Carroll days, they were amazing. Kiffin was there for 4 seasons. And then they were decent. And then Kiffin was there for a little bit, and they were okay. 2011, they were good. They were 10-2, but they were just average. They were basically average during Kiffin's days. Orgeron was there for Hiccup, took over Kiffin, and then Clay Helton did. Steve Sarkeesian was there, and they weren't very good. Clay Helton's year, when Clay Helton was there, a couple of years, they were decent. But, I mean, Clay Helton's been there since 2015, and they had a good 2016 and 2017, but they haven't been a consistently good team since Pete Carroll was there. And that was 2009 was his last year, and the 2009 year wasn't very good. He was still 9-4. He was decent. But, I mean, 08 was his last year. So consistently, like 02 to 08, the Pete Carroll years, USC was great. But other than that, they'll have snippets. I mean, USC hasn't been a powerhouse since John Robinson, 11-0, 12-1. And even they were spurts there. So, I mean, yeah, USC has not been a consistent powerhouse team. They'll have pockets of a few years, for 3 to 5 years or so, but overall they're not. They haven't been a consistently formidable team for a number of years, like in Ohio State and Alabama. So him going to USC, it has to be a money thing. It doesn't make sense to me, because Oklahoma has been consistently better than USC for the past 10 years, at least 15 years, at least. I mean, at least 10 after Pete Carroll, but Oklahoma's consistently good. But I mean, he's going to have to do a major overhaul for USC. And then Brian Kelly going to Notre Dame. He was there. He's been there for 12 years. And, he's took him to the national championship against them. They got spanked to Alabama. I think it was 2012. And then, he's taken playoffs, and he's had good years. He's done good with Notre Dame. But I think they were ready to let him go. I mean, like, it was one of those times that he was good, but he wasn't pushing them to the next level. So as far as national championship, he got him there, but he didn't close. He didn't seal the deal. Yeah. So, yeah. Going to LSU, LSU's a franchise. Again, they have pockets too. Orgeron did not good, although they beat Texas A&M, so they're bowl eligible now. They were 5-6 before they beat Texas A&M, so now they can make a bowl. But LSU's is still a pretty stout franchise that coaches seek to go to. So, yep, has to be a money thing. Marcus Freeman, the one of the coordinators there, seems like either Marcus Freeman or Luke Fickell will be going to Notre Dame. Elvis is asking, should Raw go back to 2 hours? Yes. Will they? No. Ricky's asking what I think Reigns meant when he said maybe done with WWE sooner rather than later. I think that was just a line that he said. People are really taking that like too far. They're really taking that far. And the dirt sheets are all about getting the latest story. And when he said that, there you go. I mean, maybe he wants to hang it up in 5 years. 5 years is um 5 years is worse than 5 years is shorter than 8 years. So there you go. Thank you, Aaron. Happy birthday to my daughter. Yeah. Well, the East Coast is 12/19, but yeah, my daughter's birthday was yesterday. Thank you. She's my precious little girl. She turned 4. Going to Dynamite, Tina. Nice. Shoot me over any at IG me at Chris Prolific. IG me at Chris Prolific. Message me any dark match stuff. You'll be a power too. Nice. Have I interviewed Sabu before? No. Love this question. Mount Rushmore of wrestling. See, when I think of Mount Rushmore, I think of people. Turn this heat up. I think of 4 people who made an absolute pivotal impression on the business. That transcended the business and made a big impression on the overall landscape of professional wrestling. That would be Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, and Ric Flair. Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, Ric Flair. I think those are the 4. If there was a waiting list, I would put The Rock right there, like right there, right at the back of the mountain. I would put The Rock, but almost there. But no, he's not among the 4 people who had who had the biggest impression on the landscape of professional wrestling overall. Sammartino for his WWE run, 8 years as champ. He was the one who really was used as like the banner of bringing people and butts and seats and shows, the art of bringing people to shows and that type of event feel. Hulk Hogan, I mean, he was the spawn of the rock and wrestling era. Austin, because of Austin versus McMahon and his contribution to WWE success at its peak, and Ric Flair, as far as the overall success of the pro wrestling business, as far as an all-time great from a standpoint of achievement and accolades, it would be Ric Flair. So I think that's the 4 most pivotal names in the history of pro wrestling. Elvis is asking, would I rather want to see the Usos versus the Young Bucks or the New Day versus the Acclaimed? Uso versus Bucks, although neither of those matches excite me, but out of those options, Uso versus the Young Bucks. Tap out talk. I feel like the Raw Edge mix segment was WWE trying to do the exact thing that AEW did CM Punk MJF. Do you think it was a direct response to them trying to copy? I think it was more of WWE trying to use the little bit of celebrity that came from the Miz being on Dancing with the Stars So they're trying to capitalize on that little bit of celebrity moment being from a commercial standpoint. He gained some popularity through Dancing with the Stars. So WWE is going to capitalize that and have him feud against the WWE Hall of Famer because of it. I mean, that's as clear as day of what I see of Edge versus The Miz. I'm not opposed to it actually because it is fresh. It's predictable, but it's fresh though. So at least it gives Miz an opportunity to say, "Okay, I'm in a big money feud, even if it is predictable." And WWE's capitalized on that little celebrity status he got from that. So what I saw on Monday was a very cheap counterfeit of Punk and MJF. And so, I mean, Edge has a great promo. Edge is a fantastic promo. Miz is a good promo too, but Edge is a fantastic promo. Yeah, but I didn't really get too much from it. It just felt like a cheap counterfeit. Hashtag Axe Dr. Chris. Ooh, James is asking, where do you rank Eddie Guerrero, Benoit, Vince McMahon, and Sheamus' promos on the mic? I say Eddie and Benoit are in the top 50. Okay. Out of those four, I would put number one, Vince McMahon. Number two, Eddie Guerrero. Number three, Sheamus. Number four, Benoit. Benoit wasn't a good promo. Sheamus is okay. Eddie Guerrero was okay. Vince was good. Yes, I've interviewed Bill Apter. Ben's Mount Rushmore, Flair, Michaels, Austin, Hogan. I'll agree with Austin, Hogan, and Flair. I don't think Michaels had. Michaels is among the greatest of all time. He's in the top of all time, but he's not Mount Rushmore. As far as the four most pivotal wrestlers in professional wrestling history. Sting's on my Mount Rushmore, but that's not what the Mount Rushmore is, though. My personal Mount Rushmore, people didn't ask me that. I wasn't asked that. I was asked who I think is the Mount Rushmore in professional wrestling. And Sting, although he's my all-time favorite, he was not one of the four people in pro wrestling that had the most influence in the history of pro wrestling. Sting is not one of those people. Personally, yes. But as far as overall influence, no. And along with that, Cena is not on the Mount Rushmore as far as the four most pivotal names in the history of pro wrestling. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They should definitely keep the brand split. The booking is so terrible, and SmackDown, I don't want any type of Raw stench on SmackDown whatsoever. No type of, that's why I don't like this cross-brand stuff. I don't want any Raw stench on SmackDown. SmackDown is actually my favorite show to watch. SmackDown is the number one show in professional wrestling. SmackDown's okay. I mean, SmackDown's about a B- average to me. AEW is about a C+. Raw's about a Ugh. Let me see. I'll give SmackDown a B- average. AEW a C+ average. Raw a D-, really. I mean, I'm really close to saying F. I mean, Raw is terrible. It's terrible. There's nothing good about. I mean, it's a terrible show. I mean, ooh, I'm like F. I mean, it's. I really can't think of nothing that consistently that comes good out of Raw. They're not building anybody. No one looks larger than life. I mean, Big E being champ gives it a D minus, I guess, as opposed to an F. But I mean, that's the only thing I got. Really, that's the only thing I got. That makes it a D minus. Raw is. I mean, Raw isn't bad because of Big E. I mean, they should push Big E to the moon. The creative is terrible, and Raw's awful. Raw is the worst televised show to me, pro wrestling show. Mount Rushmore of technical wrestlers. Okay, so this is a personal question. My personal Mount Rushmore of technical wrestlers. I would go. So it's 4. I would go Brett. I would go Benoit. Perfect. Steamboat. Yes. Brett, Benoit, Hennig, Steamboat. Technical wrestlers. Yes. I'm pretty set on that. Pretty set on that. I have, and this is just based off of who I grew up wrestling. I loved them and past Bret Hart, Ric Flair, Sting, and Shawn Michaels. And I agree, Rock is very close to making that list. Yeah, I would say, and again, when I think of Mount Rushmore, I think of the 4 most pivotal wrestlers. Not even my personal opinion. The 4 most pivotal wrestlers who changed the landscape of professional wrestling. If you think of 4 wrestlers who changed the landscape in some form in professional wrestling, it would be Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Steve Austin, Bruno Sammartino. Those are the 4 most pivotal names in the history of professional wrestling. Tim, what's up, man? Timothy, welcome to the show. First time checking out your show. Pretty awesome. Thank you, man. My question, do you see AEW partner with the company and getting their own streaming service like WWE Network someday? Good question. I don't see that anytime soon. I hope so, because those pay-per-views, usually the pay-per-views, I'm splitting it with people. I don't watch it myself. I split it with people because they're too expensive. So by the time I'm splitting it with people, I'm paying a decent amount. I'm paying a decent amount for AW pay-per-view anyways. But I mean, like, I paid for Full Gear, and I would have been upset if I had to pay for that for myself. I just didn't. Now, if I had the network, there was an AW network, I would, I wouldn't mind paying $10 a month like I do for Peacock. But I mean, it's crazy because Peacock's like a Netflix. I mean, I pay for Netflix too, but there's so many shows on Peacock, but I don't ever watch Peacock except for WWE every month. I heard that there were some things coming out on now I watched Hidden Treasures a few times. But that's actually a good show. And I like the documentaries too. When the A&E documentaries came out, those were pretty good. But yeah, I love documentaries. So I would watch Peacock for that. So and then when Steve Austin interviews, when the Austin podcast, I watch all of those too. So when they, I use Peacock for wrestling related stuff, but outside of wrestling, I don't ever use it. But for AEW, if they were to go on a streaming service, I would pay $10 a month for an AEW streaming service. Their pay-per-views are enjoyable. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that, Michael. I think they were building Miz and Maurice versus Ez and Beth. Yep. Well, but here's the thing: why not make that a Mania thing? I know they did Cena and Bella against Miz and Maurice, but I mean, Mania is about attraction, so I wouldn't mind, Edge and Beth um, versus Miz and Maurice. So yeah, Mania is it's about attraction. I don't really see it anywhere else though. Although I can see them doing it day one. Cena's the biggest star in the last 20 years. That's not saying much, Ricky. I mean, the post Ruthless Aggression, WWE has floundered in the ratings over the past 20 years. Their numbers are embarrassing compared to where it was in the 90s and even in the early 2000s. And I wouldn't say the biggest star in the past 20 years because The Undertaker would be up there. I would say the biggest star in the past 15 years. I would even say one of the biggest stars in the past 15 years because Taker was still around until a few years ago. And Brock Lesnar was around. He's been around since he came back, 11, 12? Somewhere around there. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put Cena as the biggest star. He's one of the biggest stars. But even like Brock Lesnar's not in the top 5. The Rock's not even in the top 5. I mean, the top 4. The Rock's not in the Mount Rushmore. He's close, but he's not. The Rock is not 4 of the most pivotal wrestlers in history. There's nothing pivotal about John Cena's WWE tenure. He was the top name in a very boring overall WWE product. John Cena, I mean, I'm glad that he's doing, his movies now, but John Cena is the most non-larger than life main guy for a long period of time in possibly the history of WWE. Before Cena, it was Austin. I mean, in like Austin left in 03? Not WrestleMania 19 was his last match against The Rock. So 03 to about 06 was like Ruthless Aggression, like the SmackDown 6, Undertaker, Triple H, Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Brock Lesnar, like that from like 03 to 06 was just a bunch of like names like in the pot. It wasn't like a clear. I mean, Taker was up there, Triple H was up there, but it wasn't like someone who's going to take the brass ring and be like, the man for take the banner, so to speak. It wasn't someone really carrying the banner. It was a bunch of people picking up the work, which I liked the Ruthless Aggression era, but it wasn't someone like a banner person. Like John Cena was the banner person in the WWE. Roman Reigns is now. Before Reigns was Cena, before Cena was Austin, and before Austin was probably Michaels. Yeah, Michaels. Before Michaels was probably Hogan or Brett. I'll say Brett. Before Michaels was Brett, and before Brett was Hogan. And before Hogan was Backlund. And before Backlund was Bruno. So Probably Billy Graham. But as far as the babyface banner was Bruno, and then Backlund, Hogan, Austin, Cena. Right now, it's as far as the banner babyface, they don't have one. That's the reason why their product is getting record low ratings on Raw right now. Record low ratings. Raw gets an unsatisfactory, yes. Raw gets a parent-teacher conference, yes. Who do I think will win the Royal Rumble? I think I've answered this before. I think the man will probably be. See, I can see Drew winning again, which I like Drew. Drew's still one of my favorites, but I don't want him to win again. I don't want him to win again. So my theory is, this. My theory is I think that Big E will lose the title at day one to probably Seth Rollins. And I think Big E will win the Royal Rumble to set up a rematch for with him and Seth Rollins versus at WrestleMania, which I wouldn't have an issue with. Big E needs to win big. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again because you asked. When Big E won the title on Raw, I said, I'm glad that Big E won the title. I'm a big Big E fan, but he did not win big. Raw is such a bad show that him winning on a bad show didn't make him look good. I mean, it was a feel-good moment, but his run shows. I mean, I don't. It's to me, it's not a Big E thing whatsoever. I'm a big fan of Big E. And he has all the tools. You know, I like his promo. I really like his in-ring work. He has that large and in life, feel to him. He's doing voice. I mean, he's doing like hype videos now for Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, and he's doing other UFC stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he's beyond. He's transcended the business with his charisma, with his voiceover. I mean, with his voice work. So he's got it. He's just not being booked like that. So Big E needs to win big, and Big E will win big if he won the Royal Rumble and he beat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. That should happen. Change where he got lots of kids and women watching. No, he didn't. No, he didn't, Ricky. Like, do you understand that ratings during the Cena era, ratings tanked the most, more than any banner person in the history of pro wrestling? You had consistent fives and sixes during the Attitude Era. Even Ruthless Aggression was getting threes. Do you understand that, like, they were struggling to get twos? Like, it's a third of what it used to be. And less than that, really, but during the Cena era, ratings start to go down. Like, it literally started to go down. And now it's at all-time lows. So, no, that's not true. He didn't bring kids. I mean, there were kids watching. Anyways. Now, he catered to kids. True. But still, the average, the median age of WWE still is nearly 60 years old. It's like mid-50s. So no, he didn't change the game Mount Rushmore style. That's for sure. Table for Three is still on, Michael. I love Table for Three. If there's new table for 3 episodes, I am down for that. As a matter of fact, I'll probably go on Peacock and check and see if it's on there to see. I love Table for 3. It's actually one of my favorite when the network was around. That was one of my favorite things to watch, non-wrestling. I'd rather watch a Raw episode from 99 than watch a Raw episode now. That was actually fun back in the now. It was way too kid-friendly. I don't care about it being kid-friendly. I mean, because at the end of the day, you have to understand, like, old school wrestling was kid-friendly. Dallas Sportatorium wrestling, USWA, I mean, that Texas Wrestling, Global Wrestling Federation, I mean, that World Class, you know, that was very kid-friendly. Back in the day, WWF wrestling, that was kid-friendly. Pro wrestling is the, like, tried and true pro wrestling is large-in-life characters. Parents come, they bring their kids are wowed of the characters. They think that they're just some superheroes. And then you have villains who people boo, the kids boo because they think they're bad guys. That is professional wrestling. Now you have something that is just, it feels like some type of gymnastics meet. Like it's not pro wrestling. It's some gymnastics concert. Yeah, Ricky, I mean, you got to give it up on Cena, man. 16-time world champ. Okay. Triple H is like 14. Edge is like 13. You got to give it up, man. Cena is not among the top 4 wrestlers in the history of professional wrestling. That's not a good argument. It's just not, man. Might be attending the AEW when they come to DC in January for the first time. Do you know if the atmosphere of the crowd is more fun and engaged with WWE is now? It seems so on TV. I've never been to an AEW show. When they come around, I can do media because I get in shows for free because of media. But I think they came to Cleveland, but I live in Columbus, Ohio, so I live in the suburb of Columbus. Born and raised in Columbus. So, living in greater Columbus, Ohio, if they come to Columbus, I mean, Columbus is one of the largest cities in the country. So, one of the top 15 largest cities in the country. So, they can make their way here. And when they do, I'll be here. So, I'll be here. Kofi to win a Rumble. Well, you actually using all his tricks. Kofi was, Kofi Mania was a flash in the pan, man. I mean, I don't think Kofi will ever make it to that height again, unfortunately. But at least he did once, though. I mean, so it's cool. I like Kofi. This is what I would agree with you on, Ricky. They do need a banner face. We agree there for sure. Why we agree? Okay, now you're hitting home runs here. Why don't they push Big E as a big star? Because everybody purposely feels 50-50 except for Roman Reigns. It's the Ryback effect. Everybody feels 50-50. Ryback said that Triple H told him that, so there won't be any wrestlers who transcend the business after Cena. How petty is that? How much does that hurt your business and make you feel like a petty, just idiot? I mean, it just sounds idiotic. That's like me having a company and saying, you know what? I don't want you to be such a good salesman that you have this top salesman award, and some other company who's better than me might buy you, or I am the biggest company. In this situation, it makes it worse. I'm the biggest company in selling of rings, light rings. I'm the biggest light ring selling business, and you are bringing in so much money that you're going to be on commercials about light rings, about ring lights. I don't care if you're on a commercial about ring lights. I don't care if you get a movie deal about and you're doing a cameo on ring lights, or because you're such a good ring light salesman, you're in some seminar or stuff. Like, I don't care about that. If you're bringing the best business, if you're helping me as a company kill these ring lights and sell them like pieces of candy, I'm going to give you a raise. If you have other endeavors, go for it. If you end up leaving us, it sucks. But guess what? We are making it work, making it happen. And that's why I'm going to groom other people to follow your footsteps. And I'm going to put you in the right positions while I have you, like a trainee, like a trainer position. I'm going to learn how to use what I have, and I'm going to make the decision to capitalize on you to help us and make you. But the WWE says, no, we're going to make everybody feel 50-50, so no one transcends the business. We're going to keep everybody. Yeah, Mike, I did see the statement of Big Swole. I think that's a good call from her. I think she was grossly underutilized. I've said that on this show plenty of times that I would, if I had the pen, if I had the book, Big Swole would be among one of the top stars in AEW, top women stars, top stars, period. Particularly in the women's division, but I would push Big Swole to the moon. She got so much potential. I think Big Swole and Cedric Alexander, Squeaky Cedric, who also has a ton of potential. I think that both of them would do very well together in Impact Wrestling. I think that's where they should go. Low ratings during Cena's run. See? Because people were tired of the Cena era. Austin Theory era. No. Nice. Egg, Vincent Theory on the next table for 3. Very nice. Very nice. James was asking, Big Boss Man, Kane, and Big Show are my personal top 3 wrestlers of all time. Even it wouldn't make the Rushmore loss. Sadly, you think they should. No, none of them. Probably Big Man. If there was a Mount Rushmore Big Man, I would put Kane and Show in there probably. Boss Man's a legend, but no. Bailey? Perhaps. I think Naomi should win. Bailey? Perhaps. But Bailey's Bailey's gimmick to me is just stale. Like I got tired of it. It's just it just felt man before she got injured. She's feuding against Bianca Belair, and it just didn't feel like anything. It just she's got to turn. Like I think it was a cool project for her to be a heel. It worked. She did good. She's even said in Austin's interview again with Austin that she was asked to turn heel before, and she would like go out. Like there was a time when she was asked to turn heel. She was about to turn heel. She looked I think she was outside or something, and she looked at a little girl who loved her, was a big fan, and she had cold feet and didn't turn. She went with it. It worked. It was a good turn. Totally different, change up to Bailey. All right. The biggest baby faces should be like you can't just do this mediocre turn. You're kind of like here, and you're not even really like somebody, and you're just kind of man, you turn like that doesn't mean anything. Who cares? But the most drastic reactions, most radical reactions are from the most radical turns. When Michaels super kick, Hogan, NWA, NWO, the most radical turns, biggest baby faces. Boom. So Bailey, I mean, great talent. I used to be a big Bailey fan, but they didn't really make her feel like somebody before she left. Jericho had a big. Do I think Jericho had a big impact on Rushing to build Mount Rush? No, I told you Mount Rushmore. Jericho was in my top 5 of all time, but no. Totally agree. It makes zero sense. Create a megastar to go and promote WWE. Exactly. I mean, it makes no. That's like making every actor feel like each other. It's like making the cameos and the supporting actors feel like the stars, and you're not promoting the movie because everybody feels the same, and you're not going to have a star of the movie or a couple stars in the movie to really promote this. This is a Steven Spielberg film, or Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington is going to be in this big movie. It's going to be big. It's going to be pancake palace. And it's going to be amazing. Denzel Washington is going to be in the movie. He's the star of the movie. There's a couple other stars and supporting actors and actresses. But what I want to do as a director, though, I'm going to book the movie as everybody has the same role and no one stands out. And I'm going to be sure that people are so like in the road, middle of the road, 50-50. There's not going to be anyone who stands out. I'm going to make sure that no one goes to make the movie feel like it's something. That doesn't happen. Conor McGregor, I'm going to have him, if I was booking MMA, I would have him go 50-50. Floyd Mayweather, I'm going to have him lose boxing matches. No, people win and they have successful records. And so those are the ones. Ronda Rousey, another one. The losses mean something. Mayweather never lost, but people wanted to see him lose, especially to Manny Pacquiao. Ronda Rousey, when she lost, super shock. She was dominant. Conor McGregor, same deal. Super shock. People who are successful are the ones who stand out. WWE, for some reason, they have the ability. They book the matches. They book the winners and losers. But everybody feels the same. But that doesn't work with anything else. Acting, MMA, boxing, you name it. Pro football, college football, you name it. It just, that doesn't work. It's terrible. Terrible. All All right, a few more. Orton breaking the record for most Survivor Series matches and Raw matches. The following night should be the face of WWE. I mean, congrats. I mean, he's been in WWE wrestling for 19 years. So, I mean, and he's young. He's only 41. So, yeah, man. Big kudos. I think he is started young and yeah, I mean, it's crazy. He's 41, been wrestling for 19 years there, and still has time. He's 41. I mean, he's still have at least a good 3 to 5 years to go. You know, solid, good stuff, man. People talking about Braun Breaker. I mean, I like Braun Breaker. I just don't like the NXT product as a whole. Not a fan. Say it was making actors for the same. Yeah. So we put it into this perspective. This is what the WWE is doing. They're making actors. It's like actors and MMA fighters and boxers be 50-50. No one's the star of the show. No one is going to be the main attraction. Everybody's just going to come and just watch someone maybe win, maybe lose. I mean, that doesn't work anywhere. But somehow the WWE, I don't even think they think it works. I think they just realize that they just realize that they're making money and they just don't care. They feel like they don't care. Next round of cuts, hopefully nobody, but it's going to be hopefully nobody. Raw had a lot of plenty empty seats again. Not a surprise whatsoever. Cool. All right, I got to roll, y'all. Good stuff, man. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure hanging out with the P&P Nation, y'all. Fun times at the P&P Nation. All right. Really, really fun. Had a good time with y'all. I made this very quick because I have fun with y'all every week. All right, y'all. I'm about to get some rest. Probably check out my phone and see if there's some Table for 3 episodes that I can watch on Peacock. All right, y'all. Until next week, enjoy Rick Wrestling. God bless, and always remember, I do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. So long.